Welcome to AI for Beginners Demystified, the podcast that makes artificial intelligence simple, practical, and profitable for small business owners. Each week, we turn complex AI concepts into real-world strategies you can use to grow your business. Hosted by the team at Internet Marketing Services. This is AI for Beginners Demystified, where the future of business starts today. Let's get started.
Welcome to AI for Beginners Demystified, the podcast that makes artificial intelligence simple, practical, and exciting. I'm Rick Samara.
And I'm Paul Stober. You know, I was looking through the material for today's podcast, and I got stuck on this one image. It's this metaphor that just feels a little too real. They call it the permanent high tide.
It's a striking visual, isn't it? Really sets the stage for, I think, the anxiety a lot of people are feeling right now.
It really does. So the idea is you're standing on the shore, you're trying to map the coastline, get out your tools, you draw your lines, you print this, beautiful, beautiful map. But the tide never goes out.
It just keeps rising.
And shifting. By the time the ink on your map is dry, the coastline you mapped it's gone. The map is useless.
And that is a perfect analogy for the state of AI right now.
Yeah.
The shape of what's possible changes so fast. I mean, literally week to week. So our old maps, our skills, the legal frameworks, our business strategies, they're all underwater.
Right. And that leads to the core mission of what we're unpacking today. We have a stack of articles and guides here, and they all point to one pretty uncomfortable truth. Most people are just standing on the shore watching the water rise. They are what the sources are calling AI tourists.
Exactly. They visit the technology, they look around. Maybe they'll ask a chatbot to write a limerick or a polite email.
Say, wow, that's cool.
And then they go right back to their normal lives.
Meanwhile, you've got this much smaller group, the practitioners, who are actually learning to build boats. So the goal for this podcast is really to dismantle that tourist mindset. We're going to break down exactly how you become an active practitioner. We'll cover the specific learning plan, the toolkit you need, and this is the part I'm most excited about. We're going to walk through building a custom AI agent step by step without writing a single line of code.
And we'll wrap by zooming out to the business landscape for 2026 and what agentic AI means for strategy. But you're right. It all starts with that shift in mindset.
Okay, let's dig into that. The source material draws a really hard line between the beginner and the practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
And reading through it, I realized it's not just about how many hours you spend on ChatGPT. It's about the direction of the interaction.
That's a great way to put it. The beginner or consumer mindset is fundamentally reactive. You have a problem right now, say you need to summarize a long PDF.
Or a recipe for dinner using only 3 ingredients.
Right. You open the tool, you throw in a prompt, you get a result, and you close the tab. It's transactional.
It's like treating the AI like a vending machine. You put in a token, you get a snack.
Precisely. But the practitioner thinks in systems. They're not looking for a one-off answer. They are looking to build a workflow. They don't just ask, write this email. They ask, how can I set up a system where AI drafts responses to all routine inquiries based on my past communication style?
That brings up the compound leverage idea mentioned in the report. This really clicked for me. If I use AI transactionally, I save maybe 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It's linear.
Right? But if you embed it into your workflow, the gains start to compound. You aren't just doing the task faster, you're freeing up mental bandwidth to do entirely different types of tasks. The source argues the competitive gap in the next few years won't be between those who have access to AI and those who don't. I mean, everyone has access.
It's already here.
It's between those who play with it and those who operationalize it.
It reminds me of the history of electricity in factories. When they first got electric motors, the owners just swapped out the giant steam engine for a giant electric motor. But they kept all the same messy belts and pulleys connecting everything. They saw almost no productivity gain.
That is a classic historical example. They were using new tech to do the old thing.
Exactly. It wasn't until they redesigned the factory floor, putting small electric motors on every individual machine, that productivity just exploded. That is the practitioner mindset. It's not just using the tool, it's changing the whole process.
And you can't really change the process if you don't understand the tools.
Which gets us to the learning plan. And I think a lot of listeners hear practitioner and they think, okay, I need to quit my job and go get a master's in computer science. But the source material is actually pretty grounded here.
It is surprisingly accessible. The guide suggests a target of about 5 to 10 hours a week. This is a serious hobby commitment, sure, but not a full career pivot. But the content of that learning is interesting because there's this debate going on. Do you need to learn to code, or is natural language the new coding?
And the source seems to land somewhere in the middle. It says, for the generalists, yeah, natural language is your interface. But if you want to be a true practitioner, someone who builds these systems, having a grasp of Python is still the gold standard. Why Python specifically? Why not Java or C++?
Well, it's because Python is the lingua franca of data. It's how the data moves. Even if you aren't writing complex software from scratch, understanding Python lets you understand the logic of the system. It helps you understand APIs, how one piece of software talks to another.
So if I want to connect my email to my calendar and then to my CRM using AI, understanding some Python helps me see how to chain those things together.
Exactly. It's like knowing how to change a tire and check the oil versus just knowing how to drive. You don't need to be a mechanic to drive to the grocery store. But if you're planning a cross-country rally, you'd better know what's going on under the hood.
And on the math side, the source points to statistics. And this was interesting to me because I always associate AI with like heavy calculus.
Calculus is for building the models. Statistics is for using them. Generative AI is probabilistic. It's just guessing the next word based on probability.
Yeah.
So if you understand statistics, you understand why the AI hallucinates or makes things up. You get that it's not thinking in a human sense, it's predicting. That mental model makes you a much better operator.
Quick question for med spa owners. How many calls did you miss this week? Because every unanswered call could be a $500 to $3,000 client booking somewhere else. That's why med spas are turning to Voice AI Plus, an AI-powered receptionist and follow-up system that answers every call 24/7, books appointments, and follows up automatically. No voicemail, no missed opportunities, no extra staff. And it doesn't stop there. Voice AI Plus also includes your CRM, booking calendar, email automation, and review management, all in one system. Try it free for 30 days and see the calls, the bookings, and the ROI for yourself. Visit the link in the description to learn more today.
Because you know when to trust it and when to, double check it.
Exactly. And for the people listening who are just, allergic to code, who are just not going to learn Python, the source offers some other pathways. We aren't leaving them behind.
Not at all.
The no-code route is incredibly robust now. The source highlights AI for everyone on Coursera. It's non-technical, but it gives you the vocabulary. It explains what a neural network actually is, so you aren't just treating it like it's magic.
And Google has their AI Skills Hub. Udacity has a 2026 roadmap. These are curated paths, which I think is important. If you just search Learn AI on YouTube, you get so much noise.
Oh, You get a lot of get-rich-quick with ChatGPT videos. Sticking to structured curriculums like Udacity or Coursera keeps you grounded in the actual technology, not the hype cycle.
Okay, so let's talk about the tools themselves. We got the daily drivers, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, we all know those. But the source makes a key distinction between general tools and workflow tools.
And this brings us right back to that factory analogy. ChatGPT is a general tool. It's great, but it lives in a browser tab. But then you look at something like Microsoft Copilot, it's integrated directly into the Office suite, into Excel, Word, PowerPoint. That is a workflow tool. It brings the AI to where your data already is. You're not copying and pasting text into a browser. You're analyzing a spreadsheet in this spreadsheet.
And then there's this platform that was mentioned, High Level. This one is familiar to both of us.
High Level is fascinating because it targets this AI employee concept specifically for customer relationship management, or CRM.
So we're talking sales and marketing automation.
Right? But think about the difference. A tourist uses ChatGPT to write one sales email. A practitioner uses a tool like High Level to monitor incoming leads, analyze their sentiment, automatically nurture them with personalized messages, and only alert a human when the lead is actually ready to buy. That is a system.
Wow, that's the difference between having a typewriter and having a sales team.
And that is where the leverage lives.
This segues perfectly into what I think is the most actionable part of all this, the aha moment. The guide walks through step by step how to build your own personal AI agent. Now, I want to be clear. This is not about hiring a developer. This is using the Explore GPT's feature that's already inside ChatGPT.
This is absolutely the most accessible way to move from consumer to creator. I describe creating something I call Rick's AI Research Partner. Obviously, you can name it whatever you want.
Let's walk through the setup because the details matter. You go to ChatGPT, you hit Explore GPTs, then create, and you get a chat interface. And I think most people just say, you are a helpful assistant.
Which is such a wasted opportunity. You're just creating a duplicate of the standard ChatGPT. The source emphasizes looking for the plus button or the configure tab in that creation suite. This is where the magic happens. This is where you create a knowledge base.
Right? Upload your brain, as you've said before.
Literally. In the example, an author takes their own book, a bunch of articles they've written, PDF transcripts of talks, maybe even a style guide. They upload all of it into the GPT's knowledge base.
And then they give it system instructions.
Yes, and this part is key. They don't just say, use this info. They say, you are an extension of this author. Use the tone found in these documents. Friendly, simple English, a bit of humor. When I ask a question, answer only based on the philosophy found in these uploaded files.
That constraint is interesting. Answer only based on these files. Why limit it?
It creates reliability. So if you're a project manager, you could upload every project charter and postmortem from the last 5 years. Then, when you ask, what are the risks for this new project? It's not giving you a generic answer from the internet. It's giving you an answer based on your company's history of failure and success. It stops guessing and starts referencing.
It becomes contextual intelligence.
And the source makes a really good point about iteration. You don't build it just once. It's like a new hire. The first week, it's going to be a little clunky. You have to correct it. No, that's too formal. No, you missed this detail. But the beauty is, you can just tell it to update its own instructions.
You literally say to the bot, add that correction to your permanent instructions.
Exactly. And over a month, you refine this thing until it stops feeling like a bot and starts feeling like a clone of your best work.
That is the absolute definition of the practitioner mindset. You are building an asset that gets more valuable the more you use it.
And notice, no code was written. This is all prompt engineering and data curation. It's strategy. not syntax.
So we've covered the individual level. We've got a personal agent. We're learning the systems, but let's zoom out. The source material spends a lot of time on the macro view business strategy in 2026, because if individuals are building agents, what are corporations building?
They're building agentic workflows. And this is a term we need to define because agentic AI is the buzzword you're going to hear everywhere in 2026.
Okay. So how is that different from what we have now?
Right now, we mostly use generative AI. You ask, it creates. It's a call and response. Agentic AI has agency. It operates on a loop. Perception, reasoning, action.
Give me a concrete example.
Okay? Generative AI is draft an email to the supplier asking for a discount. You read it, you send it. Agentic AI is manage our supply chain costs. The agent notices the price of aluminum has gone up. That's perception. It reasons that this will hurt our margins. That's reasoning. It automatically emails 3 different suppliers to negotiate rates, compares the offers, and updates the inventory order. That's action.
So it does the work. It doesn't just talk about the work.
It executes. It acts on your behalf. The source mentions Goldman Sachs and Coca-Cola are moving hard in this direction.
Coca-Cola is an interesting case study here. They've always been big on brand, but this is all back-end stuff.
Well, they're using it to close the feedback loop. They launch a campaign. The AI analyzes real-time consumer data across social media and sales channels, and then it adjusts the marketing spend or the ad copy on the fly to optimize ROI.
Without a human having to approve every single micro change.
Exactly. It's all about speed. In 2026, the competitive advantage isn't being smarter, it's being faster. If your competitor's AI can adjust their pricing strategy 10 times a day based on market demand, and you're waiting for a weekly meeting to decide, you lose. You're playing a turn-based game while they're playing real-time strategy.
And Ernst & Young is doing this internally.
Yes, the eating your own dog food approach. They rolled out a massive AI platform for their own employees. They realized if they wanted to consult on AI, they had to be AI native themselves. Now they're using it to synthesize thousands of tax laws and regulations to give faster, better answers to clients.
But, and this is a big topic in the source material, when you have autonomous agents executing tasks and reading thousands of confidential documents, you run into a massive operational risk.
Data governance. It sounds boring, but it's the single most critical factor for enterprise AI.
The source mentions Microsoft Purview specifically here.
Right. Think of Purview as the security system for the building. If you dump all your data into an AI model's salary info, trade secrets, pending patents, and you don't have governance, that AI might answer a question from an intern by revealing the CEO's bonus structure.
Or worse, leak your IP to a competitor if it's a public model.
Exactly. So tools like Purview classify data. They label what is confidential, what is internal, what is public. It ensures the AI knows the boundaries. It's not just about can the AI answer this? It's about should the AI answer this?
It's the guardrails.
It's the brakes on the race car. You cannot drive 200 miles per hour without elite brakes. As these systems get more agentic and autonomous, strict data governance becomes more important, not less. You cannot just set it and forget it without those safety layers in place.
That seems to be the recurring theme here. Whether you're building a personal bot to write your emails or a corporate system to manage a supply chain, the human is the architect, the AI is the engine, but the human designs the car and sets the rules of the road.
And the human decides where the car goes. The AI provides the horsepower, but the practitioner provides the steering.
So, bringing this all back to the listener, we've covered the high tide, the practitioner mindset, the no-code tools, the step-by-step for custom agent, and the rise of autonomous agents in business. It's a lot. if someone is listening to this and feeling a mix of excitement and, overwhelm, where do they start today?
Start small, but start systemically. Don't try to transform your whole career this weekend. That's just a recipe for burnout.
Pick one thing.
Pick one repetitive, text-heavy task you do. Maybe it's summarizing weekly meetings. Maybe it's drafting a specific type of report. And just commit to building a system for it. Go into ChatGPT, use that Explore GPT's feature we talked about, upload your last 10 examples of that report, and try to get it to write the 11th one in your voice.
And don't stop at the first bad draft.
No, iterate. That struggle, that process of refining the prompt, tweaking the knowledge base, figuring out why it messed up, that is the learning. That is you moving from tourist to practitioner. That is you learning to swim.
Going back to that opening image of the permanent high tide, it is scary. The water is rising. But the more we talk about it, the more I realize that high water is also an opportunity. It lifts the boats that are ready for it.
That's it. If you're just watching from the sidelines, you aren't staying still. You're sinking. You're moving backward relative to the rest of the world. But the people who are building these advantages now, they are the ones who get to map the new coastline.
All right. Let's zoom out and recap what we covered today, because this one was big. We started with that image of the permanent high tide. AI isn't stabilizing. It's not slowing down. The coastline keeps shifting, and the old maps, old workflows, old skill sets don't hold up for long.
And that led to the first big distinction. The difference between an AI tourist and an AI practitioner. A tourist opens a chatbot, gets an answer, and closes the tab. A practitioner builds systems.
Right. It's the shift from transaction to workflow, from write this email to build me a system that drafts routine emails in my voice. That's where compound leverage starts to kick in.
Then we got practical. We talked about the learning path. You don't need to quit your job and become a machine learning engineer, but you do need intentional practice. 5 to 10 hours a week, structured learning. Maybe some Python, definitely some statistics. And for those who don't want to code, no-code tools are powerful enough to build serious systems.
And then we walk through something incredibly actionable, building your own custom AI agent inside ChatGPT, uploading your work, creating a knowledge base, giving it system instructions, iterating, refining, turning a generic chatbot into a contextual assistant that actually thinks in your style.
And finally, we zoomed out to 2026 and the rise of agentic AI. Not just generating content, but perceiving, reasoning, and acting. AI that executes tasks in loops. AI that adjusts strategy in real time. AI that moves faster than weekly meetings ever could.
Which brings us to the big picture.
If we had to boil this episode down to a few key takeaways, here's what stands out. First, access to AI isn't the advantage. Operationalizing it is. Everyone has the tools. Very few are building systems.
Second, the real shift is from reactive to agentic, from asking for output to designing systems that execute on your behalf.
And third, the practitioner mindset compounds. Every workflow you build becomes an asset. Every iteration improves your leverage. The gap will widen between those experimenting and those engineering.
And we can't ignore this one. Speed is the new competitive advantage. Businesses that let AI act in real time will outperform those stuck in slow, human-only decision loops.
So let's make this concrete. What's the actionable item for this week?
Pick one repetitive, text-heavy task you do every week. Just one. Meeting summaries, client follow-ups, weekly reports, sales responses.
Then go into ChatGPT, use the Explore GPT's feature, and build a custom agent around that task. Upload your last 10 examples, give it tone instructions, tell it how you want the output structured.
And here's the important part. Don't stop at the first draft. Iterate. refine it, update its instructions, treat it like a new hire you're training. That process, that refinement, is what moves you from tourist to practitioner.
The tide is rising either way.
So don't stand on the shore watching it. Grab a paddle and start building.
Thanks for listening to AI for Beginners Demystified, brought to you by Internet Marketing Services, helping small businesses harness the power of AI to work smarter and grow faster. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Be sure to check out the description below for valuable links and resources, including free tools, learning guides, and ways to start applying AI in your business today. And visit einternetmarketingservices.com to explore even more AI tools, tips, and resources. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep demystifying AI.